Okay, before we start automating our next endpoint, I want to make one minor change here. I want to actually make use of our runtime tools. So let's go ahead and just add that here real quick into our test create region data or our create region or whatever you're automating. I'm going to add my runtime tools here. Runtime underscore tools. And I'm going to pass that into here and into here. And so all I'm going to do is plus runtimes tools dot get random GUID. Okay, just to make this more unique and I guess more special, if you will. So that should be good now. So what we can do is go ahead and copy this. This is going to be region underscore data. So now we have the same thing here. I'm actually not going to use this here, or I'm not going to use this either. So let's go ahead and remove that for this. We're going to make a couple of changes here. So we're going to take in a file name. This will be file name now. We will still need this here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to keep this exact same thing here, except we're going to update this from request to create region request. Go ahead and modify all of this. Let's add in a comment up here, create region. So we're basically going to be doing two different calls here. I have to do my setup call, and then I have to do my actual testing endpoint call here. So create region, and then I'm going to actually, since we're going to have to modify some things here, send data. We'll set this equal to get JSON data with our file name being equal to, I'm just going to copy this from my other screen to this one. And then we're going to modify kind of like what we did up here. So I'm just going to copy again because I have it on my other screen, what I had before, but it's going to be send data this time. So send underscore data, app position name, and all that stuff, plus our random GUID. Perfect, this is looking good. One thing we're going to add here is we're going to keep this, but we're going to actually, oops, wrong hotkey. We're going to add a region ID here, because this is what I need for my endpoint. Once again, I know this is, you might not be following this one-to-one and you have your own endpoint, but I'm just showing you kind of the process of how this is going to work and how you can do it with your own endpoint and what you're doing with or working with. So I'm going to just go ahead and speed through this. So create region request.json. We'll get the JSON value of that, and I want my ID property. So now I have my ID property, which I'll use for my create region data. I'm going to do a check here, making sure that my region ID does not equal none, and it does not equal empty array, or sorry, empty string. So I'm going to raise an exception, and I will say in this, region ID missing from create region, test could not finish. That should be good enough. Period there. And I'm going to keep that assertion. And then I'm going to do two print statements just so it's cleaner on the actual output. Print. And so now I'm going to copy this entire thing here for the sake of time. And this is going to be create region data. And this is going to be region create / data. And this is going to be underscore data. And this time I'm going to be modifying the ID to be that region ID value I just set up here. Easy as that. And then this could be region data request. This actually does not need to be here. And neither does this. Okay, so now I've got my URL for region create data. I've got my new JSON thing, which I'll create here in a minute. I've got my auth token. This actually needs to get removed because we are already doing this. Let's go ahead and do send data this time. Send data here. And I'm going to do post response create region details, and then post response create region data details. So basically this should be all done outside of our data that we're missing here. So let me go ahead and create that real quick. And I'm just going to copy from my Postman collection here. This ID will be replaced. Perfect. Swap them over back to here, and let's go ahead and run it. So we'll go ahead, I'm just going to remove this, we don't need this. Actually, before we do that, I did just see one little bug. Let's go ahead and go back to the region IQ real quick. This needs to be a region ID. That would fix that. So we've got that now, and that should be fixed. And let's go back over and run this now. So let's go ahead and hit enter. Open this up. Check this one out. Make sure everything's good. My IDs are good. My region ID is good now. Everything is good. So we've got this endpoint. And so what we're going to do is just one little thing here that I want to show you that I keep forgetting to do, but we'll do it now. So we can use our markers here. So for example, we can pass in the -m flag, right? And say I want to run all my non-prod tests. Well, that should run absolutely everything we have, which is good because we have our non-prod flag on everything. Now let's just say I want to run my prod stuff, which should only be my health check. That should be the only thing that runs in this folder. Which you can see, that's the only thing that went, and then there was 2 deselected. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going to do one more endpoint. Obviously, I know you guys don't have the same API as I do, so I'm going to do one more endpoint, and I think we can wrap all this up. So I'll see you in that last endpoint video.